It's time for Hey, I'm Talking Here with Frankie Corrado.
It's the Olympic edition of Hey, I'm Talking Here. Here's Frankie Corrado. First of all, wait, Matthew Tkachuk.
Oh, man, sounds like a great time. I got to be honest, though. If I had any way out of having a roommate, I'm taking it.
Right.
I just didn't do well with it. I'd have earplugs in. I had the eye mask on. It sounds prima donna-ish. Just a light sleeper. I don't know what to tell you.
It's one of those things about hockey that's still kind of amazing. Like, even in the pros, you're rooming with other guys and stuff like that for the most part.
Well, for like in this, but usually these guys are at like plush king size bed, at like the Four Seasons, room by yourself. Yeah. Like don't even get a hold of me. You don't know where my room is. Now they're sleeping on like little cots. It's crazy the difference.
You imagine bunk beds, maybe. I mean, they seem to have a good time. Now, this is the thing. We heard this about the Canadian team. They have started in the Olympic Village. There's some talk that maybe they might like to eventually move off the Olympic site and stay in something a little more plush, like you alluded to. At the end of the day, do we have not enough to talk about here? Are we making too much of this?
I think once the games get going, we won't talk about it until it ends. And then we'll say, was it the wrong decision for them to not stay in the Olympic Village? Did they not come together as a team? Maybe they should have had roommates. I don't know. If you win, you did everything right. If you lose, you did something wrong along the way that led to you losing. I would want to get the Olympic experience, but I think when it comes time to sleep, like there's a reason why teams are investing like hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars in sports performance, and that's sleep and all these things wrapped up into one. So I don't know, you get one crack at this thing. A lot of these guys anyways, you might want to get your 8 hours, especially when you're jet lagged too.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I'd be right off that Olympic site. There's no chance those rooms are nice. There's no chance. It's
go like peruse the village and then you go sleep.
I think they're doing it right. Couple of days, get the experience, then get the heck out of there. Go somewhere more plush. And then we saw the closed practice. Ryan's story is so funny.
Yeah.
Pierre LeBrun very upset. You could tell our boy.
We're thinking of them.
Yeah, we're thinking of these guys. What do you make of this situation?
Okay. I understand this. Let's go from Team Canada's point of view.
Sure.
Okay. Everything about this thing is noisy, right? Like your Team Canada, so many members of the media have traveled halfway around the world and they want to watch practice, and they're going to write, there's so many bodies there, they're going to write stories on every single thing that is happening in practice. So if you're Canada, you're given the option to have like a quiet practice where you can like really nail down all your systems and your structure and have that good base, and the coach doesn't feel like he's got to like yell. And I don't know, I'm just, it's an opportunity for them to have at least one quiet practice. We'll see how many times they do it as the tournament goes on, but that was my takeaway. It was like, we're going to take this opportunity. It's not something that comes along very often. I think Team Canada members still kind of said the lines are the same. So at least you got that out of it.
I guess that's the thing I wanted to ask you about. At the end of the day, they still got to talk to everybody.
Yeah.
So they saw practice the day before. It's not, and if the lines didn't change.
Right.
What are they missing, really?
I think what you would want to see is, are McDavid and MacKinnon shooting pucks together after practice? Who's Crosby doing face-offs with? Like those are the things that you can build stories off. But as far as like, you know, they're doing a 1-2-2 in the neutral zone, or they're doing, you know, man-on-man coverage, or they're doing a zone defense, you might not pick up on that. You know what I mean? So as long as you got the lines, you know what the stories are. I think of it from Team Canada's point of view. One opportunity to have a nice quiet practice, no distractions, no noise, get your work done, all business, and then maybe it opens up from there.
I almost guarantee that the Professional Hockey Writers Association will file a grievance, and the next Winter Olympics in the south of France, this might not be available to the Canadians or to any of the other teams. There were some interesting line combinations, and they did stay the same, but we talked about the Macklin Celebrini, Tom Wilson, Connor McDavid line, and Ryan Rashog had an interesting point about it, saying that if you squint, you could almost imagine Nugent Hopkins and Hyman sort of like that's the roles, Celebrini's playing the Nugent-Hopkins role and Wilson's playing the Hyman role. Do you get that impression? Do you like that combination, those three?
I think there's such an intrigue factor of having Tom Wilson on the team and then saying, we're actually going to put you with the big dog.
It's amazing.
Right? Because Tom Wilson is a big dog himself. Let's not get this wrong. He's the best player on Washington. He's been the most productive player on that team. They struggled so much without him in the lineup. And hasn't there always been this fascination with McDavid from the time he's come into the league? Like, he had to play with Milan Lucic at times and had to play with Zach Kassian at times. And it's like, okay, you got the best guy at doing that. So why not see if you can create a little more space for McDavid in a tournament where once you get to playing the United States or Sweden, it's not going to be much room out there. So I think it's an intrigue thing more than anything. And if you wanted Zach Hyman to play with McDavid, you could have just taken Zach Hyman
brought him
at the end of the day.
Yep, had a chance to do it right at the end there. Second line had Nick Suzuki on the wing with Nathan MacKinnon and Brad Marchand. Will you be surprised if MacKinnon and Crosby don't eventually play together?
I think there's going to be so many different line combinations here. Like John Cooper with Tampa Bay changes the lines like crazy. And that's Tampa Bay. They're a good NHL team. He's got so many different weapons at his disposal here. So I think there's going to be a lot of different line combinations that we see. The thing that sticks out about that, though, is you're going to potentially go McDavid, MacKinnon, Crosby down the middle.
Yep.
So Sidney Crosby's your third line center.
It's bonkers.
And you're essentially saying, I'm not going to take from my position of strength in the middle and put Crosby on the wing or MacKinnon on the wing. I'm going to go ace, king, queen down the middle and say, you deal with it. And there's clearly a lot of centermen on this roster. Suzuki playing the wings, never doesn't play the wing, but he's really good at like picking pucks off of the yellow dasher and like just chipping it. Like it barely touches his stick. Next thing you know, so I'm envisioning like MacKinnon flying and Suzuki's just going to have a little pop play and they're out of their zone. Like that's kind of, I think it's easier for a guy like Suzuki to make the switch to the wing than one of the other three going to the wing.
And you mentioned those big three being your top three centers, and Pierre LeBrun alluded to it yesterday with the idea that you could just constantly roll lines. And if Cooper is changing the lines, even better, right? You can he wants to get as many guys out of there as he possibly can.
Okay, well, think about this. With the team that the Americans are bringing, you can figure out what they want to do. They want to win a game against Canada 1-0 or 2-1. And I'm not saying, like, Canada's a very explosive offensive team, so I'm not saying, you get into that game and Canada's going to pop 5, okay? Like, the Americans are going to assert themselves, but how long can you suppress that?
Right.
Can you suppress it so that they can't get 3? I don't know. Like, that's going to be difficult. And eventually the dam will break. Like, there's just way too much firepower there. So I think that's the caution. If you're another team and you play Team Canada, it's like it just keeps going.
Yeah, it comes in waves.
It doesn't stop.
Yeah,
and that's going to be difficult for a lot of teams.
Now, we keep talking about it, the goaltending. We're so positive, and then it's the goaltending. Listen, those are 3 great goaltenders. We still don't know who's starting Game 1. No. Who would you start in Game 1 if you're coaching this team?
Jordan Binnington.
Yeah,
because I think there's a good opportunity that presents itself here. You're starting the tournament against Czechia. So you'll know exactly what you have Game 1 from Jordan Binnington. It's not like you're playing, a non-hockey nation, let's call it, right? Where Canada would give up 9 shots and you don't get a good read on your goalie.
Right.
You will have a good read in Game 1. And so if it goes well, great. You have it in your head that he's locked in. Killer instinct, guy that knows how to win. It's Four Nations Binnington, and he's back. If it doesn't go well, you have plenty of time still to say that maybe it's going to be Logan Thompson or it's going to be Darcy Kemper. So it gives you a little bit of a buffer. But I think Game 1 is revealing, and it's not the worst thing to know exactly where you're at with the guy that you think could be the starter. And for me, it's Binnington.
But you mentioned it. It feels, and maybe I'm wrong, but it feels like if Binnington slips, it's probably Thompson who jumps in simply because of the season he's having.
Well, yeah, like I would say, on the whole, like Logan Thompson's been a really good goalie the last couple of years, but that doesn't discount what Darcy Kemper has done the last 2 years as well, playing for the Los Angeles Kings. This is such a unique beast of a team.
Yeah.
Because realistically, how many shots are Team Canada giving up?
It's a great point.
Like against Switzerland, against France.
Yeah.
Switzerland's a good team, but we're talking about what, 14 to 16 shots?
Yeah.
Maybe like Czechia maybe gets more. Like I don't know. You can put any of these goaltenders in a position to succeed.
Yep.
So as far as the margin for who's the next guy up, I mean, I think it just comes down to maybe like a personality thing or just a trust thing. Coaches talk about coach's gut all the time. Like that's what it is.
And I wonder too, Frankie, if Binnington clearly has heard the rumblings about him. There's no question he knows. He's got a chip on his shoulder about this. He won the Four Nations. He's like, listen, I'm going to prove I can do it again, for sure.
He's got a chip on his shoulder, even when things are going well.
Exactly.
Right? Like, he'll have more to prove now than ever before.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I have no doubt, like, he's a really good, like, mentally strong goaltender, and I think in a short burst tournament like this, where you don't have to sustain it for 6 to 8 months, he can really lock in.
Yeah.
As long as physically he can do it, but mentally, I have no doubt he'll be able to lock it in for 2-3 weeks here.
Now, putting you on the spot, who's winning gold?
I will say Team Canada, and my reasoning is this, and I don't know why, but my head automatically goes to Canada versus USA, which is wrong because Sweden's a good team, Czechia is a good team, Finland has some nice pieces, but that's where my head goes, and I think a lot of people want to see that matchup. Team USA has left a lot of firepower at home. So they want to win a game 1-0 or 2-1 against Canada. I think it's going to be very difficult to do that, especially if Canada gets the goaltending. So that's my rationale. I just think there's too much firepower, and that would be their most likely opponent that could beat them probably in the U.S. And I don't like their game plan against that Canadian team.
Fair enough. This has been a blast. Thanks for sticking around with us, pal. Appreciate it. We're going to go to break. When we return, I don't know, we'll have some other Olympic stuff, maybe some different sports stuff. Things are happening. It's SportsCenter with Jay Onrait.